So find your space and sit comfortably, relatively comfortably. Make your adjustments without expectation or destination. Just allow for the remembrance of sitting and the shape and the human experience of having the pelvis balanced on the earth and the spine stacking, breathing. Another beautiful tree. And this key word, allowance, is really important to be able to allow for the energy to move. First, we have to recognize it, acknowledge it, and somewhere in the ocean of everything that we're feeling, everything that's moving through all of us all the time, we cultivate discernment and we begin to distill from all of that vast experience some kind of truth. I remember listening to Swami Vidyadishananda years ago. He's one of the youngest super high vibration teachers, and he would say something like, "The truth on the path is a wiggly thing." So it's not something that we own or need to sort of contain or identify with. Truth is an experience. It is your path. And why talk about the truth? Because there's just so much going on, and how do we find our way? So it is in how you sit. It is in how you orient yourself in gravity. It is the truth of the neutrality of the pelvis not falling back or pushing forward all the time. It's a truly stacked lumbar spine, the 5 lumbar vertebrae stacking so neutrally that if you trace a thumb from the kidneys down to the sacrum, you'll feel a straight waterfall in the body. And so this is one way of describing the truth. But these are things that we don't wear, that we're not taught. They're things that gravity informs, and we have to remember. So allowing for the inhalation to come in up through the inseams of the legs, up through the gateway of the pelvis, up into the deep core belly, through the transformation in the heart. And like the heart, like a prism, P-R-I-S-M, that takes that pure light and tends to create a lot of color. And letting the branches of the lungs open in every direction, the neck, the voice, the cranium. The tree is a powerful metaphor. And then change the way that you're sitting. So you want to have at least a half dozen ways to be able to sit available to you in your toolkit. And the legs and the hips need to be open and supple enough to get out of the way to allow us to sit without pulling on the body, pulling or pushing the body in some direction. Let me invite you to dive into the core by doing some very simple thing. Every time you exhale, get a little bit taller. Every time you breathe out, take the crown of the head a little bit farther away from the ground and watch what happens over time. The creativity and complex engagement. There's no way to cheat this. There's no way you can get tall by cheating. So one of the ways I like to describe it is the corset, and this is the whole body, but especially the lower torso and the pelvis, upper legs. all begin to reorganize, to push the ground down functionally and pushing the head to the sky. And can you maintain it while you inhale? So the breath comes in and we don't go slack, because the breath can feel really good. That inhalation is yummy. Don't let it turn you into a mush ball. Not right now. Inhale and exhale and keep lengthening again and again and again. You notice a couple of key things. The low belly starts to draw back towards the sacrum without sucking the belly in. It's a functional gravity in the low belly pulling back. The sacrum spreads out. You might find your breath is more in the back and the sides of the body than in the front. The buttocks may start to turn on, the legs turn on, the feet are on. Going up and up, spreading the space between the vertebrae. Change the way you're sitting. Again. So we're going to maintain as much as we can some degree of this core awareness and let the pelvis fall back. You're going to be like, well, wait a minute, doesn't that make me short? Yes, it does, but the core tone is still there. It's still there. The buttocks are on, the belly is looking backwards. You roll back, and then you hook your sits bones into the ground and pull the fabric of the ground back to sit forward. Go as far as you can in the pelvis. Look up a little bit. Strong belly. Spread the chest. Open the kidneys with your breath, and then keeping the eyes up, let the pelvis fall back. The eyes dropping at the last of the wave that moves up the spine. So on your own, continue in this current geometry of sitting. Pelvis sits forward, there's a bit of a back bend, and then the pelvis falls back. There's a bit of a rounding, flexion of the spine. As you get into a rhythm, let the head begin to look around, independent, not isolated from, but inspired by the movement. The head begins to look around. Notice how the shoulders tend to want to synchronize with the hips. So when you back bend, the shoulders pull back with the sits bones. And then when the pelvis rolls back, sits bones forward, the shoulders round forward. This is functional. Also notice the synchronicity of the lumbar and the cervical spine, the low back and the neck. Back bending, especially. Try not to stick the chin out too far. When you back bend, take the back of the head a little bit more to the back body. Pelvis first, head last. It's a good way to live. And what that means is the deeper intuitive intelligence. Change the way that you're sitting. When we allow the pelvis to be first in polarity, we allow for intuition to be alive. Keep going with the pelvis. This also lets the brain, the intellect, the manas be informed that there's something greater. So this primal push and pull, everyone. I mean, just to be in the pelvis in this way is a profound and often challenging practice. It can bring up all kinds of stuff. Okay, now let's everyone sit cross-legged with the right leg in front, if you're not already. Take your fingertips to the ground out in front of your legs, and as you do so, let the pelvis fall back again. Drop the chin towards the chest. Let the heart sink back. And then, with the pelvis first, pull the ground back, lean the pelvis forward, and this starts a wave moving up the spine. You'll start leaning forward, and as you get about 30 to 40 degrees in, you're going to pause for a moment and draw the diaphragm back. Spread the chest, and continue forward. I would place the hands on the knees now and let the torso swing side to side as you fold forward. But activate the arms. pushing and pulling against the body. Mostly, you're moving the earth side to side with your pelvis and your legs. That's what gives you the side-to-side movement up top. Try turning your head to one side. You can get very close to the microphone and do that late night DJ thing. Just like that. Breathe, everyone. Breathe and move. Tone every single place you feel a stretch. Every place you feel a stretch. Strengthen so that you're more in touch with the movement than the stretch. Length is a part of a complex equation that requires a lot of strength to be sustainable. And slowly coming back up. Pause for a moment. Give yourself a chance to feel everything that's turned on, that's moving, shifting, evolving, quickening. Now we're going to switch the legs, left leg in front. And you start to move side to side, but be upright. Now without touching the ground or the body yet with the hands, just moving side to side and slowly rocking the boat. And kind of you want to sort of like tip the boat over. You're not going to capsize, because in time, when you get there, we're going to put our hands in the water like oars. But the movement, when you're moving the ocean side to side with your pelvis, that's no small task. Move the entire ocean side to side with your rudder, which is the tail, the energy of the tail, and the auxiliary keels of the sits bones. When you lean into one side, you need to push that hip into the ground. Don't suffer the weight. Activate and push the ground down. And you'll come up and go across the midline to the other side. So find your motive of propulsion. Now the arms begin to fly. And you're going to find it may be helpful to reach across the midline as you lean to one side, reach both arms back from whence you came, so that you help sort of counterbalance, and you can go deeper without touching the floor yet. Also allow a hip to float, allow the knee to float, that's fine. Strong through the side belly that's in the stretch. So if you find it difficult to turn on the side belly when it's being stretched, it's probably better to go for that same side buttocks. So if you feel the right side belly in a stretch, turn on the right glutes and it will help you find the belly. Now, once again, switch the way the legs are crossed, right leg in front. And let's continue side to side. And before we put our hands down, we're going to move side to side, but let the pelvis kind of find a little bit of an elliptical path. So instead of a linear path, you're going to go across the midline a little bit, maybe in the front, as you lean the pelvis forward over to the other side, and then you can come back and roll the pelvis back as you go back across, and change the direction of the orbit anytime you'd like. Now you're going to find the belly is really going to try to make this happen, because we may not have access to the pelvis fully. And I don't know that we ever do, but we want to, and it is our right, our human right. So the belly will go, I got this, and you'll start hula hooping, and the belly starts leading. So try to avoid that. And one of the ways you can do this is to feel the contact of the sits bones and move the ground around with the sits bones rather than the belly. Tone as if you're moving in water or something thicker, like mud or clay. But again, this is why if you move the planet, your pelvis will be engaged, but you may not be engaging the upper body as much. Okay, now shift over to one side, put the hand down, lean into it a little bit, and it's really important to pull the shoulder back and also towards the pelvis. To not put the weight on the peaky side of the wrist. Stay off the ulnar wrist. Put the weight into the root of the index and thumb. Reach the other arm, the free arm, back across the midline unless you need that arm to assist you. You can put both hands down and push back up, come across the midline, all the way over, and do the other side. And by the way, if you're leaning to your left, with the right leg in the lead, you can set the right leg, the knee up if you like. It can put more weight on the shoulder though, so be careful. So go back and forth. So this is one of those things, like this one particular practice of sitting, the shape of sitting, the bilateral pulse, right, and pushing is so medicinal. We don't load the shoulders enough. Little mini sideways push-ups. If you've ever done any capoeira, I would imagine this is familiar. Also let the head turn, or you might have the habit of looking up all the time, which is totally fine. But try looking down. You can either lay the temple on the ground or the forehead on the ground, which is really soothing to the nervous system. So the nervous system is less nervous. It's a terrible name. Let's call it the nervous system, because it describes, wait, come on. It's already nervous by nature. Oh, what do we call it? Let's rename the nervous system right now. Like, dude, I'm focusing. The neural net. Yeah, thank you very much. Yeah. Yep. Oh, you feel the warmth coming in. Now, the trick is with the shoulders is they often don't have any power because the neck is tangled up with the shoulder, and the shoulder is tangled up with the neck. So this is rich codependency. And it's really intense. This is why you want to look down and soften the neck every time you load that shoulder. See how it's opening up for you? The hips are opening, the side belly's opening, the kidneys are getting a little bit of length, the QL is opening in the back of the belly. Life is good. Oh boy, good. One more time on whatever side you're on, and then go ahead and come back up to the top and take the left leg out to your left. Knee bent, so you have some space under the knee and the toes are pointing up. And so for a little while, just setting your fingertips on the floor in front of you, for a little while, do your own thing. Explore this shape of sitting in a way that is slow enough and strong enough so that you are not looking for a stretch, but you are looking for a range of experience, which means range of motion. ROM is not about flexibility. It is about flexibility, but it's about so much more. It's about how the joints organize. It's about moving the pelvis first. It's about knowing your spine, learning from your bones. Your bones are like elders teaching all the time, ancient elders. So everywhere you feel a stretch, try to engage. So pull the left heel down into the ground, especially when you lean towards the left foot. If you're heading in that direction, pull the left heel down powerfully. Now do something different with your toes. You'll find patterns of movement, usually forward and back, or side to side, or combinations of the two. And then what we're going to do, everyone, is lean over towards the right knee. Excuse me. Put the right elbow down on the ground just outside the right knee. Make a fist. Now, what you want to do, a little acupuncture for the planet, is you're going to gently squeeze and push the earth down with the right elbow. Really push the elbow down as much as you're comfortable doing, and then open that palm. And lay your head, the forehead, right into that palm. And gently push the head down into the palm, the elbow into the ground. Pull the left heel, the back of the left heel, down into the ground. And you're going to tremble. You should get so engaged that you're actually trembling. And this is a really good tremble. You want to get used to this. Draw the diaphragm back and breathe within the storm. Pushing the head down and strengthening the neck. Pushing the elbow down. And then slowly come back up, pushing the right hip down and come up. Now take both elbows to the floor in front of you if you can. Put both hands on the forehead. This is appropriate for the times. Just look at this posture. Oh my God. Okay. So push the elbows down into the floor. And what you're going to notice, I hope you do, is that the elbows pull towards you. That's the core engaging. Your back should spread fully and it will feel amazing. Push the head down into the hands. You get a nice little facelift here. And pull the sits bones back. And now pull the left heel down into the ground until you're shaking. And that shake, in your positive conscious action, is moving, is flushing micro trauma from your system and also strengthening you powerfully. Breathe, my friends. Celebrate your life. Each little tremble is a micro birth. It's a renew. And then come on up. Wow. Now, last one. Take the left elbow to the floor outside the left knee. Make a fist and push the elbow down. It'll also pull back towards your left hip. Okay, and pull the left heel down. Now at this point, the back of the left leg should be getting quite toasty. Bend the knee a little bit more. Take it easy. Reach the right arm over the top of the head. Look sort of out front or down towards the floor. Open the left hand and then bending the right elbow. Touch all the fingertips together above the head. Now look down at your left elbow and push. Assist with the top side arm. The right elbow flying towards the sky. Slide the shoulder blades down off the back of your head. Sink the body into the ground. And release. Let the left knee drop to the floor. Let the left leg turn out. Turn your left toes to the left and come up. And then simply fold the left leg in front. That was a lot. It is beautiful, everything that is moving right now. So we begin to positively replace the sort of fight or flight, or what I lovingly call the perpetual low-grade freakout, which was happening before COVID, and replace that with gently, lovingly, compassionately, with positive engagement, positive. It's a realignment of our intention to be. And this happens through the body because it needs to be experienced. Slide the right leg out to the right. Are you having fun? Is everyone having fun? Good times? Okay, don't say anything. That's fine. That's okay.
Yes.
All right, so on your own, with the right leg out, remember to bend the knee, toes up, knee up, and move around within this shape. You're sitting by the primal fireside, and you're just enjoying, wow, like we're sitting on the earth. We're capable of sitting on the earth. I think they need to redesign cars so that you can sit cross-legged. Think of how low the car would be too. It would be super cool. Yeah, so find what you can find. Again, so there might be a residual habit to search for a stretch. And I understand that. That's one of the ways that we push and pull and find our limits. And when you feel that reflection of stretch, you got to get really smart about what you need to engage. It's going to be that muscle. It's going to be those right hamstrings or the right adductors. And how do you do that? Right? So pull the right heel down into the ground. Okay, now go over to your left and sink the left elbow just outside the left knee. And push the ground down. You're going to roll the left shoulder to your left. Roll the left shoulder blade in towards the spine. And sink into the ground. At the same time, way off to your right, pull the back of the right heel down. Right there, breathe. Now open the left palm and sink the forehead into the left hand. And help by pushing the neck. So it's positive, conscious engagement of the neck, which is part of the core, by the way. Sinking down into the earth. The legs totally, everything trembling in this beautiful, complex micro dance. Soften the eyes, blossom the back of the cranium to the sky, and then use your left leg, hip, to come up. And then lean forward down the middle and take both elbows to the floor. Put your head in your hands. And the elbows pretty close together, even narrower than the shoulders. You're going to push down with the elbows. They're also going to pull towards the pelvis. Maybe a positive result is that the sits bones pull back and the pelvis is leaning into the moment. Hollow the fabric of the belly backwards. Sink the legs. Do not lock your right knee. Keep it bent. Change the toe energy. Just let the toes flex or spread in a different way. And add enough energy to the elbows pushing down and the head pushing into the hands to get that trembling happening. But in the eyes are bright. There's this transparency coming in the eyes. And then slowly come back up. We're almost there, almost there. That means you're almost out of this mess. Lean to the right. Take the right elbow to the floor outside the right knee. Oh, make a fist. Push the ground down. So squeeze, consciously squeeze. Bicep, tricep together. The whole body, all the fibers coming online. The wild animal that you are. Reach the left arm over the top of the head. The palm facing the ground. Then bend the top elbow. Open the right hand and touch the fingertips. Maybe past the head. You can slide your elbow more away from you. Now pushing the hands together, push the right elbow down, fly the left elbow to the sky, and draw the diaphragm back. Breathe. Breathe. You're not holding a pose. You're squeezing a moment consciously. And it squeezes back. The earth is pushing into you. Push into the earth. This is all the gravity. And release. Coming up. And bring your right leg in. Folding it in front. Wow. All of this in the human shape or key of sitting. So if you feel a flush on either side of the lumbar spine out to the sides of the belly, beautiful. Very restoring for the kidneys and the adrenals. Okay, great. Let's go back to yoga. Come down onto your back. I'm going to do two poses that are going to be deeply engaged like what we were just doing. First, we'll do the twist. So walk your feet in, cross your right knee over your left knee, and roll all the way onto your left side until your right knee touches the ground. Now if you're on a bare floor, that can be a little bit intense. You can add a blanket or a mat. And straighten your left leg so the foot goes out in front of you, so you can see the foot emerging in front of the knees. Make a pillow with your left arm and reach your right arm straight up to the sky. What I want you to play with is try to touch the ceiling. Like actually reach for the ceiling actively. And what you'll find is your left shoulder pulls into the ground and your right hand reaches higher. You're going to keep that energy as you turn your head and look up. Cupping the back of the cranium with the left palm, depending on how far you can turn your neck. Now sink the head a little bit into that left hand. And then look past the shoulder. And I want you, like a mime, with your right hand, push on a pane of glass to your left with your right hand to turn the head to look past the shoulder. Then reach the right arm about 40, 50, 60, 70 degrees off to the right, 80 degrees, and pause. Now find your belly and turn your belly to the left. Pick up the left kidney off the ground, pull the left hip towards the right fingertips. So it's a very active turn. Now you're going to bring the belly as powerfully towards the spine as you can, especially the low left ribs. They pull to your right. Now slip your breath between the vertebrae without melting all your tone. Within all of the strength, there is spaciousness. That's a good definition of strength. It engages in a way that cultivates space. Try not to tuck the pelvis. Very good. Now, slowly, stay strong, and roll back onto your left side. Put the right hand on the floor in front of the chest. Untangle your legs, and then roll onto your back for 30 minutes. Oh. I like that idea. So see, what makes the difference is that deep, multi-fiber, intracellular engagement. So good. So feel the release from behind the right ear, all the way down the right side to the right toes, and the sole of the right foot. You may also find a diagonal connection between the back of the right ear, all the way down to the left foot. Beautiful, everyone. Bend the knees, walk the feet in, and cross the left knee over the right knee. Roll onto your right side fully. The left knee will touch. Cushion the knee. Keep the knees tied together and swing the right foot out in front of you. Turn the toes a little bit towards the floor. Make a pillow with your right arm. It's a pretty good place to hang out. And as you just settle in a little bit, reach the left arm straight up to the sky. And so press the left knee down into the ground and to the right to turn the head. As you look up at your left hand, okay, what you want to do is push the left palm against a pane of glass to your right to turn the head and look past the arm. Now, straight away, as the head looks past the shoulder, and before you reach your left arm any further to the left, untuck the pelvis, pull the sits bones to your left, scoop the belly off the floor and towards the spine as powerfully as you can, and then reach the left arm around 60, 70, 80 degrees. You know, the twist is not defined by how far you reach your arm. The twist is defined by how far you turn your head relevant and relative to the sacrum. So turn the lower half of the body to the right, powerfully, and turn the upper half, mostly the heart and above, to the left. Now, I didn't talk about this on the other side, but I want you to try to feel your respiratory diaphragm. It should be totally on, breathing, and it's surrounded by a very strong rib basket. Turn the perimeter of your diaphragm to the right, but turn the center of the diaphragm, where the heart is, to the left. Perimeter of the diaphragm turns to your right. The center of the diaphragm turns to your left. Anybody feel the galaxy in your diaphragm? And slowly turn onto your right side. Stay strong. Don't dump your energy abruptly. And then untangle the legs and release onto your back. Push the legs out. And give special attention to releasing any residual tension from the neck. So behind the ears, the mastoid processes, which are the knobs that basically define the lower outer corners of the occiput. It's a very complex, busy space. And you're going to feel it as you release it. You're going to feel it in your eyes. Okay, bending the knees, walking your feet in, and consciously returning to a seat. Beautiful. And let's come up to standing just as consciously. Okay. A little R2D2. Okay, so look down at your feet. Feet are parallel and slightly apart. Lay the hands on the body. Unlock everything, especially the space between the ears. And start to move very slowly side to side. We do this often. The key of standing is so much versatility, so many possibilities. And so we start with the basic fundamental relationships. Right? Here's the bilateral. How do the sides talk to each other? How do they inform balance? How do the two hemispheres of the brain get along or not? So just by moving your hips side to side across the midline, you're relaxing the membrane between the two hemispheres of the brain. I can't remember if it's called the falx cerebri or something else. Does anybody know? But you have to feel it more than know it. So this is, again, you're going to feel it in the eyes. So the hips moving side to side, and you could just be sitting here and just kicking it. You know, you're like, I got this. But that's loose, okay? Move the planet side to side to move your hips, and then the whole body engages in a very deeply yummy, complex way. And you get all those chiropractic adjustments. The arms begin to work, begin to do their thing. Try not to tuck the pelvis, a very common residual effect of chairs and car seats. Now let the feet open up. We're going to keep moving side to side, but now the hips pivot, and so do the legs subsequently. Bend the knees more and drop down, and let the feet dance a little bit further apart until you start finding suddenly all of these combinations that are like, whoa, wow, and then go half speed and twice as strong. And let that heel come up. And let the ball of the foot come up. Drop down closer to like we're heading down closer to the earth, letting the stance get longer. As you now start to turn side to side, we're standing and there are other shapes coming in like crouch. Try turning so far that you cross the midline. Another navigation and balance piece of crossing. Look for the weirdness, like the wonderful weirdness. Oh, in every place you feel a stretch. Can you strengthen that place? You may not be able to, and that's okay. It comes in time. More buttocks, more belly will help. Now turn to your left. Turn to your left. Drop the hands to the floor, and you're in a crouch. And start to move around in the crouch. You can adjust the stance length. It's one of the biggest variations is stance length. You can go ahead and turn around to your right, 180, whenever you want to switch sides. Do your own thing for now. I'll give you some ideas soon. Notice the difference in how much weight you bear in the hands. You can do different things when the hands can take some of the weight. You don't have to burn the legs too terribly. So we start acting, just turn side to side whenever we need to. We start acting more like quadrupeds when the hands engage more. Somebody told me about a book where somebody's theorizing that we're not supposed to be bipeds. Something happened that shifted the evolutionary path. And I don't know that anyone will ever know, but still, you want to experiment and help out evolution. That's what it does. Now turn to your right and lower the left knee down and across the midline to the right as much as you can. Put the left hand down and take the right hand inside the right foot. Drop the left hip towards the floor. Play with this a little bit. And lift the hips back up. Come back up. Turn around to your left, 180. Bring the right knee down and across the midline to your left, and then with both hands on the floor, outside the left foot, or inside the left foot. Lower the right hip down and just kind of play with that, hover just off the ground. Let's do that again. Come back up. Lifting the hips, turning to the right. Bringing the left knee down and across the midline. You'll turn your right leg out this time. Take your hands to the floor, to the left of the front foot, and then see if you can lower your chest down. Turning your head to the right. Keep the left shoulder away from the ground, please. Come back up. Lift the hips. Turn slowly. Take care of yourself. 180 to the left. Drop the right knee down and across the midline. Take both hands to the right of the left foot. Lower the chest down if you can. Right temple on the floor. You got to really pull the right shoulder away from the ground with everything you've got. And then come back up. A quarter turn to your right. Let the legs dance wider. The hands down, palms down, move side to side. With the hips and the whole torso follows.
Now you're going to push the hands into the floor, lifting the belly, dropping the head, and dancing the feet closer and closer together. And coming up to standing.
Anybody remember how we went from standing down there? Isn't that cool? Okay, so what we're going to do is have a little fun with the shape keys. There are 7, and we're going to notice how they're a natural progression to sitting. So we'll start standing, and you're just going to do your own thing. Do your own thing. And some of the things I would inspire you to do would be like balance on one leg for a little while. You can just play with that. That's optional. Go really, really slow. This is really about animal tracking. It's about tracking your joints and really feeling, knowing, like the cat does, where everything's located. One of the reasons cats purr, it's theorized, is to locate all their bones. It increases their bone density, and they can locate their body so intimately, anytime, in any environment. Having whiskers helps. So you find your variations in standing, and my friends, get really, really engaged. And then what we're going to do, okay, is we're going to fold at the hips into the second key of folding, dropping down like you're going to sit on the front of the rock. You're going to drop down, and you're going to find your movement. Now, folding is really a container that it contains the next couple of shapes. And what I'm talking to here is just a language to try to help us remember what you already know. And this is all describing human movement as you might recall it in your bones. So if you take your fold and you turn to one side like we did earlier, 90 degrees to the left or to the right, you have the third key of crouching. And just like we did before, play with your crouch. And you'll turn intuitively all the way around to the other side. And each time you turn, what tends to happen playfully is the stance length opens up and lengthens. Until, if you go long enough, you end up in a lunge. You're going to need to bend the front knee more, lengthen the back leg more, but you can still treat this like a very long crouch. But now we're in the fourth key of lunging. The keys are gateways through which you want to explore and find variation. Turning around when you need to lunge to the other side. It's not a pose per se, but it will be deeply informed if you've got some yoga experience. Whoa. Yeah, now from here, just a quarter turn out until you have wide legs. Now this is a fold again with the legs wide. And what we're going to do is bring the feet a little bit closer together, the hands down on the ground, dropping the head, loosening the neck. Turn to either side, drop into a squat, the fifth key. Now the squat can be symmetrical, or as I'm doing, asymmetrical. And see what you can do here. Putting a lot of weight on the hands. You can turn from one asymmetrical squat to the other side. You can also hang out in any kind of symmetrical space where the legs turn forward or out. Yeah, so working at these deeper joint spaces. So again, standing, folding, crouching, lunging, squatting. And then we sit down. The sixth key and of course there's so much available here, so see what you can find in your seat with regard to exploration. So I haven't really done this in class, it's just to invite people to just call the shape and then see what you can do. But because we all share the same general bone structure, bone geometry as a species, that's going to tell us what we can do and what we can't. It's also going to, more deeply, it's going to inform how. He's like, wait, didn't he say there were 7 keys? The 7th key is supine. You line down. And keep moving. So the inspiration to keep exploring within the construct that you've been born into, you've been gifted into, to push and pull like you did as a child with such deep, profound curiosity and wonder. Notice how you can backbend easily, more or less easily, in the supine shape. You can really work the shoulders. You can pull into the ground with the shoulders, something rare without equipment or a tree to climb. And then go ahead and settle down. Take a few moments. Push the legs out. So the 7 shape keys is where it all begins, and they're all can be seen as a progression from standing to lying down and back again. And see what the qualities are of the tone of your moment, the tone and spaciousness and the breath, the energy, the freedom or the hindrance of energy. Wouldn't Shavasana be great right now? Oh my God. You're awesome. Make your way up to a seat area. Perfect. Okay. Sit with the left leg in front. We're going to get into 2 sequences. We'll repeat them so you get into a rhythm. But for now, just sit for a moment, having experienced everything so far, and give it space. So posture is a strange kind of cultural thing. Sometimes we wear a posture like clothes that don't really fit. And I really want to support you in recovering the source of posture is a relational context, construct. It's a gravitational and relational dance. Every one of us did this as a baby when we first set up. It's built in. It's built in enough to the master blueprint of the DNA. What does the pelvis need to do in gravity? What does the spine do? And you feel that. And then the mind goes, oh good, I get to let go of the concept of sitting. Meditation. And what we're going to do here is lean towards your right knee and kind of, you don't have to get the shoulder to the knee, but you could head in that direction. So lean towards the right knee, right thigh. Feel that side bend in the left belly and strengthen that by turning on the left buttocks. And then we're going to sweep through the middle, coming across the middle, keeping the chest level through the center line, and then lay the left shoulder on the left knee. Now, what we're going to do here is come back back up. And as you do so, look off to your right and push your left leg across the midline over your right knee. Now, without the hands, just let the leg flow. Use your Jedi mastery. Now, leading with the heel, you're going to slice the leg across the sky. Catch the ankle with your left hand and fold the leg next to you as you lay your right shoulder onto your right knee. Your left toes are not pointed. Your left toes are tucked under. You've dorsiflexed your left foot. That's why the assist with the left hand. Stay here for a moment because it feels good. And just subtly move around in the shape. Find the pelvis, find the belly, find the heart, empty the jaw. And then all we're going to do is come back up. Use your right hand off to your right. Watch. I'm going to push right up into an asymmetrical squat. Right foot leading. Yeah, now, if you're able to slide your right foot a little further forward, and then turn to your right, tucking your left knee underneath, you're going to fold into like a cow face pose. Now stay here for a moment and drop your left hand to the floor behind you off to your left. I would turn the left thumb towards the body. And then gently pull the entire left side of your body back. Left hip, left kidney, left shoulder, but then turn your head to look to the right. Then with the right fingertips, very subtly touch the left side of the face intuitively. But reserve your right thumb for the third eye, for the space between the brows. And you're not pulling on the head, you're just gently, gently touching. Turn the lower half of the body to the left and the upper half of the body to the right. It helps to pull the shoulder blades towards each other a bit. The kidneys stay behind you so the belly's not spilling at the diaphragm. And then from here, release the hand from the face. Swing the right leg around to your right behind you and fold, setting up in like what you would do in like a pigeon, coming down to the elbows. Now, set the left knee off to the left, a good 30 degrees off the midline, and tuck the left heel just inside the right hip bone. You want to point the left foot and try to get on the top of the left foot and the front of the left shin. Tuck the back toes, however, instead of pointing them, tuck them under. Now push the elbows down to the ground here and sway side to side, keeping the belly engaged by pushing the elbows down. And you're rocking the earth side to side with your arms, letting the hips and pelvis move across the midline, brushing more space into the core. Now, come up onto your fingertips. And what we're going to do is push down with the hands, drop your chin, keep everything else the same. Start by pushing the legs down into the ground. Push the right knee down into the ground, the ball of the right foot down into the ground, the left leg into the floor. And now the lowest belly, right at the pubic bones, draws back. And come up a little bit higher, draw back. Follow the vertebrae up the spine like a dragon's belly, segment by segment. The belly pulls back until you get to the kidneys. Powerful engagement of the belly. Chest open. Look right out in front of you. Now, lift up into a lunge, left leg forward. And move around. And move around in your lunge. How's everybody doing? Yeah. Whoa. You can always cash in your one bathroom pass, so just let me know. Again, look, you're going to hop forward and take the right foot just in front of the left, and then take the left leg back into a crouch, just a crouch. Not a super long crouch. Now watch. You take your right hand, go inside, take the hands between the feet, make a diamond shape, turning the hands away from the midline, and drop into a squat on the left leg, turning the legs out. You end up with the outer blade of the right foot against the floor. And then, take your right hand out of the way, outside the right leg, and look to your left, a quarter turn. You just wrap your right leg around the left ankle and have a seat, right leg in front. pass through the middle, folding forward, level chest at the center line, the midline, on right shoulder to right knee. And as you come up, lift your right leg without the hands and fly the right leg over your left knee. Yeah, just that right there. Turn the toes a little to your left and then cut through the sky, leading with the heel. Come all the way over. Bend the leg, fold the leg by your side, assist with the right hand, and keep the toes tucked under. You're not pointing the right toes. Leaning the left shoulder into the left knee. This is all hips, it's all core, it's everything. And then as you come up, use your left hand to push up into a squat, left foot leading, lifting the right knee off the ground. Slide your left foot forward, turn to your left, dipping the right knee underneath, folding into the cow face, the left knee on top. Drop your right hand to the floor just behind you, thumb forward, and pull the right hip back, the right kidney and right shoulder back. Look to your left with your head. Touch the right side of the face with very, very sensitive left fingertips. Maybe press against the third eye with the left thumb. You're not cranking on the neck by touching. You're inspiring subtler awareness, release that gives more space. Pull the right side body back. Turn the belly to the right, especially the low belly. Like what if you could just turn the sacrum and the pelvis to the right? And then slowly release the cranium. Swing the left leg around behind you into a folded lunge, or it's very much the same as a pigeon, the way that I used to teach it. Elbows down, left toes tucked under. Oh, yeah. Now, pushing the elbows down, lifting the kidneys, rock side to side a little. So picture moving the planet side to side, the clay side to side with your legs and your arms. The reciprocity is in the opposite swing of the spine, the pelvis, and the head across the midline. It's very soothing. Every time Mama rocked us to sleep, there's something about the rhythm. And then come up onto the fingertips. And push the legs into the ground, especially the left knee, the ball of the left foot, turn the buttocks on, especially the left side. And then sweep the lowest belly back. And then travel segment by segment, your dragon belly, toning backwards powerfully, all the way up to the throat, backing the head up, pushing the earth down with your legs, and then pop up into a lunge, right leg forward, and release residual tension as you move around this. And we're going to hop the left foot forward, slide the right leg back into a crouch. Not very long crouch. Turn the legs out as you slide your hands between the feet, turned out, dropping into a squat on the right leg, left leg in front. And then just slide your left hand outside the left leg. Turn to your right a quarter turn, wrapping the left leg in front, sitting, having come full circle now in the sequence. There's an interesting pattern, a parallel that I've seen over the years, where we open our hips, we open our shoulders. When we open the core, it opens the heart, opens the lungs. Maybe you can feel that right now. How the tension releasing from the neck is coming from perhaps the deep support that's realigning in the core. So it's the leaves can really dance when they know the roots are sound and deep. Okay, let's do the sequence again. Lean to the right, towards the right knee. Right shoulder touches the right knee, maybe.
And then pass through the middle, folding right across the midline, left shoulder to left knee. This time, look up, reach the right arm to the sky, and pull the right arm back, the right shoulder back. Look to the right, draw the left kidney back to your right. Pull the left tricep shoulder down into the left leg, and then release the gaze down. As you come up, fly your left leg across the midline to your right. So the left leg comes over the right knee. Lead with the heel, cut across to your left, fold the left leg, toes tucked under, leaning into the right knee with the shoulder. Find your breath, have fun with this. And then from here we're going to come up, use the right hand to come into an asymmetrical squat, right foot leading. Turn to your right, a quarter turn, your left knee dips underneath, end up folding the right knee over the left knee in a seat, like cow face. Drop the left hand to the floor just behind you. So begin by pre-engaging in counter rotation. Counter rotation describes the lower half of the body turning opposite where the head is going to go. Pull the left hip back and the left kidney back. Even pull the left shoulder back and turn your head to the right slowly. You can touch any way you like with the right hand, just to give some sensitivity and a lot of awareness to the cranium. Now, as your head turns more to the right, incrementally turn the pelvis and belly to the left. Release the cranium. Swing the right leg around behind you. Just a low pigeon. And here's a curved ball. Push the forearms into the floor and slide the left leg back in the forearm plank. Now, move the earth side to side with your forearms and your feet for 20 minutes. Pick up the kidneys, turn the buttocks on, soften the brow, moving the earth side to side. See how the movement helps you stay longer? Do you believe that sales pitch? But it's true, the movement keeps you creative. Now slide the left leg back in the pigeon. Now come up onto your fingertips. Look down for a moment. Slide the left knee off to the left. Push the earth down with your left and right legs. Push the ground down with your legs and then draw the low belly back. And the middle belly back to the upper belly back. And lift the crown. Hop up into the lunge. Left leg forward. Take a moment here, see what you can find in your own variations. Hop the right foot forward, the left leg back into a crouch. Turn both legs out as you walk your hands between the feet. Turn the hands out. Drop into a squat on the left leg. Take the right hand outside. Fold the right leg as you turn to your left. In front, right leg in front, everyone. Last time, lean left towards the left knee. Left shoulder kisses the knee. And pass through the middle, across the midline over to the right. Right shoulder to right knee. Stay here. Reach the left arm up. Look behind you as you look up. Reach the left arm behind you, but at the same time, find the right kidney. The right kidney is very close to the right, to the floor, to the right leg. Pull the right low ribs back in the same direction your head is looking. And you feel stability and turn the buttocks on, stabilize the sacrum. One more breath, and then looking down, go ahead and come up, and we're going to throw the right leg across the midline over the left knee. Cutting with the heel first, bring the right leg around to the right. Cup the ankle with the right hand and assist the right leg folding, toes tucked under. Laying the left shoulder into the left knee. Coming up, push with the left hand into an asymmetrical squat, left foot leading. Slide the foot forward, left foot forward, turn to your left, dipping the right knee underneath for your cow face. It's a variation of sitting, left knee on top. Right hand to the floor just behind you. Now, right hip pulls Right kidney pulls, so medicinal. Right shoulder blade pulls, head goes left. Touch the right side of the face with the left fingertips. If you push your thumb against the third eye, you can release all the way into the deep mind, center of the brain, or back of the brain, to a fourth eye, maybe even a fifth eye. Don't let that creep you out, I'm just saying. And release the head, swing the left leg around behind you into the pigeon. Elbows a little bit closer than the shoulders. Hands, palms up and wider than the shoulders. Slide the right leg back into plank because it's fun. This time, instead of moving side to side, pick up the left foot off the floor, 1 inch. Breathe. Now move side to side on 3 points. Oh my God, who came up with this? Put the left foot down, take the right foot 1 inch off the floor, keep moving side to side. Both feet down, keep going, side to side. Now, swing the right leg back into pigeon. Come up onto the hands. Pre-engage by pushing the legs into the earth. Scoop the belly low. Middle and upper bellies pull back. Lunge, right leg leading. Release any residuals by moving within the shape of the lunge. Lunge crosses into a long crouch anytime you sit back enough with the hips to do it. Oh. Step the left foot forward just in front. Right leg passes back into a crouch. Go ahead and turn the legs out. Set the hands between the feet, turn the hands out. You end up squatting on the right leg. And then left hand sets outside. Turn to your right a quarter turn. Left leg wraps in front. And we're sitting cross-legged, left leg underneath. So this final sequence starts and finishes in the same place. Take a moment, be the moment. So pelvic orientation is like a mantra. It's like a power word you may have learned in meditation to help find your way back, so to speak. Pelvis is more powerful than any word I've ever studied, ever found. It's the feeling and the experience of the gravitational truth within the pelvis and the spaciousness in the core. Throughout the day, this mantra repeats. It wants to run on its own. Think about that. Like you might come to a class and hear it for the very first time in your life. Pelvic orientation in gravity. Okay. All right. So this next one, we're going to turn a quarter turn. So your left leg is in front. You do a quarter turn to your right. Push up into a squat. Left foot leading. Now I hope you brought your legs with you this morning. We're going to pre-engage and stand up slowly. Once you're up to standing, just rock back on the back leg a little bit. Just kind of letting the front foot be loose, so flirtation with cat stance. And then step onto the left leg forward, sit down in a chair, and slide your right toes as far forward as you can. Bring the spine more horizontal to the ground. Lift the kidneys. Now while you're here, slide the right foot back, stand back up, and go ahead and get into your full cat stance, left foot leading. This could be whatever you like. Then, balancing on the right leg, slide the left foot in and pick up the left knee as high as you can. Keep your hands up. And then extend the left leg forward. Okay, and then balancing, take a big step forward onto the left leg, land, and then slowly turn to your right, 180, through a horse. Coming all the way around, right leg leading, drop the hands into a crouch. Now this next part is a little confusing, maybe a little confusing, watch. See your body from above, and you're going to turn counterclockwise. Watch. I'm going to leap off the back leg and spin 180 and hop across the midline. But this is a lunge, so I'm going to bend the right knee and lengthen the back leg full on. And here's the fun part. Take both hands to the left of the right foot. Okay, put the palms down. Now slide the right leg underneath you into a crossed plank. Lower the hips a little bit. Bring your left knee to your left elbow and hold. Bring the left knee to the right elbow and hold. Push the left leg underneath you, crossing plank. Now the left leg is closest to the floor. Lower the hips a little bit. Bring your right knee to your right elbow. Hold. Right knee to left elbow. Hold. Now slowly lower the right outer hip to the floor. And as you sit, bring the left leg inside. You should feel a little bit pumped. No, check it. Feel your body. Okay, sorry, Arnold. So that abundance, the blood soaking, the lymphatic movement, the neural reconnection, the breath, the cardiopulmonary rhythm is elevated. This is normal. This is good. Okay, so a quarter turn to your left hand down, come into an asymmetrical squat, right foot leading. Pre-engage, and here, try this quantum reality. Push your hands down in the air to lift up. You'll feel it. It's real. Even just by engaging more of your body, it helps. Now rock back on your left leg a little bit. And then step forward onto the right leg. Sit in a chair, one-legged, and slide the left toes forward. Kung Fu style. Drop the heart. Now while you're down here, slide the left foot behind you. Come back up and drop into a cat stance. Right foot leading. So most of the weight's on the left leg. And then we're going to go ahead and slide the right foot and fully balance. Bring the right knee up, chambering. And then slowly extend the right foot forward. And then drop onto that foot, taking a big step. Slowly dance and turn through the horse to your left, 180 degrees. Drop into a crouch, left foot leading. And the movement helps release residual tension from things that have just happened. Now see your body from above. You're going to turn clockwise to your right. Kick the right leg all the way around and behind you across the midline. And then bend the left knee in a crossing lunge. Set both hands to the right of your left foot. Slide the left leg underneath you to a crossing plank. Lower the hips a little bit. Push the heels. Bring the right knee to the right elbow. And then to the left elbow. Push the right leg out underneath you. Crossing plank. Left leg is now on the sky side. Bring the left knee to the left elbow. And then to the right elbow. Lower the left hip down. And as you sit, left leg is in front. If it's edgy, then we bring the consciousness to the edge work. To be not necessarily comfortable and have a practice, realizing that the real integration of the practices is in the edgy moment. Edge work. Let's do the sequence one more time before we finish. I have a surprise for you. Okay? Turn to the right, quarter turn, left foot in front, squat. So you have your left foot leading, you did a quarter turn to your right. Pre-engage, push down on the air blocks to come up to standing. Drop back on the right foot for a moment, just loosen it up a little. Coil. Then step forward onto the left leg, sit in a chair, and slide the right toes way out in front. Stay low, slide your right foot back, come up, cat stance. Stand up on the right leg, pick up the left knee. Keep the right inner heel down. Extend the left foot forward. Breathe, and then land forward. Big step on the left foot. Slowly turn around through the horse to a crouch. Right leg leading. Come down and touch the ground and move around. Oh, now as seen from above, you're going to turn counterclockwise. Turning to your left, basically. Swing the left leg around behind you, cross the midline into a lunge. It starts as a crouch. And you just simply bend the right knee away from the reach of the left heel. Take both hands to the left of your front foot. And here we go. Slide the right leg underneath, crossing the plank. Bring the left knee to the left elbow. Then to the right elbow. Back to the left elbow. Back to the right elbow. Keep your hips low. Left knee to left elbow. Left knee to right elbow. And then extend the leg underneath you and cross plank. Lower the hips a little. Right knee to right elbow. And then to left elbow. Back to the right elbow. And back to the left elbow. One more time. Back to the right elbow. Hips lower. And then to right knee to left elbow. Lower the right hip down. Have a seat. Right leg in front.
Oh, my little. Good times, huh? Give the heart space to be excited. Let the lungs be soft enough to allow it. So good, you guys. So we're going to go through the other side and we'll be done. And here we go. So we're going to start with a quarter turn to your personal left. Right foot leading in squat. It's a great way to just get up off the ground. Pre-engage to stand. Creatively stand up. Keep the stance. Rock back on the left foot a little. Just loosen it up. Then step forward into the chair. On the right leg, left toes slide way out in front. While you're here, slide the left foot behind you. And come back up into a cat stance. Whoa! And then we stand up on the left leg, bring the right knee up high. Extend the right leg forward. Take a big step forward on the right foot. Land and turn to your left, 180 through a creative force. And left leg leads in a crouch, dropping down, hands to the ground, and move around. Now, seen from above, you'll turn clockwise, pivoting on the left foot. Cut the right leg all the way around and across the midline in a cross lunge. Deepening the knee bend, the left knee forward, the right heel pressing back, inner right heel pressing back. And then both hands to the right of your front foot. Pass the left leg underneath into a crossed plank. Lower the hips a little, pick up the kidneys. Right knee to right elbow. And then to left. Right knee back to the right elbow. And back to the left. Right knee to the right elbow. And to the left elbow. And then extend the leg underneath you. Another cross plank. Left knee to left elbow. Turn the biceps forward into the right elbow. Back to the left. Don't freak out. Over to the right. Left knee to left elbow. Left knee to right elbow. Slowly lower the hip down.
And sit, left leg in front. Very, very proficient, familiar in the practice of self-release. So what we just did has momentum, and it's totally supposed to. You're going to feel the burn, the energy, and it's not that we want to disassociate from it. We want to recognize it and ask ourselves a simple question: how much of it needs to carry forward? So what I'm really pointing to is a practice of neutrality, of the moment is gone, let it be gone. And watch your breath change immediately, just like the energy in this room just did. Let it be past. Go ahead and come lying down on your back, everyone. Resting. Follow your exhalation consciously without changing it in any way. You'll notice the quantum reality that when consciousness is focused on anything, it changes that anything. See if you can observe your exhalation without any thought, so that it tends to naturally lengthen and spread out.
Notice if you're adding anything to the exhalation or hindering the exhalation in any way. What if, by consciously observing your exhale, without any agenda, with the transparency of a Buddha, you allow what lies in the breath as pure potentiality to have every chance to come into being in any way that it needs to? In other words, when we witness without charge, anything is possible. Same for the in-breath. Let the inhalation come in as such patience, such patience. We get out of its way. It wants room in the moment. All of the deeper places the breath touches, if given a chance. As always, my friends, take your time in your return, your conscious return to the flow of your day through the first movements, wherever, whatever they may be. Just finding your way up to a seat. And whatever you're feeling, allow for it. And if there's gratitude in there, then touch the earth with one hand and touch the heart with the other. And just recognize the earth as our witness. The cosmos bearing witness. Don't forget. It's easy to forget. Beautiful, everyone. Thank you for sharing yourselves. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Blessings. I am grateful. Hope to see you soon. So welcome.